to what is happening to Pep. We understand that he has divorced with his wife after being married for 30 years at this point in time. A lot of people are asking, could this be the reason why Pep, of course, no longer the, very, very impressive, when it has to do with, additional taxes and for City, of course, to have this level of struggle?
Well, for me, I think that may not be far from the truth. Divorcing with his wife of over 30 years with 3 kids, I think that could be very devastating. That could be very emotional, heartbreaking. I think it has contributed in Manchester City, poor run of form that we've seen of them this season at some point. So I think that could be very hard for anybody to take. Your wife leaving you, a wife that have stayed about 30 good years with you, and with 3 kids, it could be very, very emotional, and it can go a whole long way to destabilize your emotional stability, and it cannot allow you to work effectively in wherever you work or whatever you do because of the emotional trauma that comes with it. So I believe that is one of the reasons that have hampered Manchester City and Pep Guardiola's fine season so far. But then again, you can also attribute maybe the aging squads of Manchester City to the struggle that we've seen of them of late, because some of their key players are way older than what the pace of the English Premier League requires, because in the English Premier League it has to do with pace, and pace it deals with speed, and if you are that old, it will definitely tell on you. There are players that are way above 30, and you don't expect them to be competing at the highest level with some of the young lads that we are seeing in the English Premier League. You take a look at the squad of Chelsea, the very young crops of players are there. Take a look at the squad of Arsenal, young players. Take a look at the squad of Liverpool as well, young players. Maybe you can just point out 1 or 2 players that you will say that they are way above 30. If not, they are within the age range of 25, 23, 26, which for me. But if you take a look at the Manchester City squad right now, they are key players. I think they are aging. The likes of Ike Godoan, the likes of even Kevin De Bruyne. These are players that are very vital. They are key, to Manchester City, but they are aging. So I believe Manchester City did not do the right business during the transfer, window last time. They should have been able to beef up 1 or 2 areas in their squad. Then again, letting Julian Alvarez, leave to Atletico Madrid is another factor that I think is actually, causing Manchester City. But generally, you cannot take away the fact that Pep Guardiola divorcing with his wife or her wife, whichever way you want to put it, is certainly a very big factor that I think is responsible for the blip in form that we've seen of Manchester City of late.
And of course, the reports covered that Pep Guardiola is to move out of his £8.5 billion family home after splitting from a wife, Christina. And Pep is expected to move out of the mansion in Barcelona after his shock split from wife Christina Serra. And of course, yes, on Monday evening, reports came from Spain that claimed that Guardiola and his wife Christina had decided to separate after 30 years together. Guardiola, who has 3 grown-up children with his fashion boss wife, has always stayed at their family home and £8.4 million mansion in Barcelona, most elite neighborhood, when he has returned to the Catalan capital from Manchester. Now, it remains clear as to where he will base himself in the future when he spent time in Barcelona. This is Michael, this is a dicey situation. Pep do not have a home anymore, in Barcelona.
And that is very, very frustrating. This is why I say that it may be a fact, or some of the factors that have actually, caused Manchester City drop in form, because a lot will be going through his head. Of course, you saw some of the clips or some of the games that if he's losing, he get to scratch his head and his face. At some point itself, he had to, injure his face while scratching. So a lot is going through his, head because of the emotional trauma, because a lot of thinking here and there, losing about 50% of his asset possession. I mean, it is not, easy thing for you to just let go and think that all is well. You can just go on and cope up with your life. You go to training, dish out the instruction to players, tell them what to do, those pep talk, those ginger, those motivational talks. Whereas he's down, he's not motivated by anything. How do you want him to also motivate his player when a lot is going through his mind, a lot is going through his head? So for me, I think it is a very, dicey situation that Manchester City's Pep Guardiola finds himself right now. And I tell you, it's going to take a long time for him to be able to recover from, this mental, damage that he's actually going through right now.
A very big situation for Pep Guardiola, and we hope that, of course, he's going to summon the courage to see how he can elevate himself from this, poor situation. But away from that, let's quickly take a look at some fixtures we'll be seeing tonight in the Premier League. Everton will be in action against Aston Villa, Leicester City against Crystal Palace. We'll also see Newcastle United against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and the big one tonight will be the game between Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur. Michael, I don't know what you make of that encounter. Do you see Arsenal racking up all 3 points tonight?
It is very possible. If you take a look at their home record against Tottenham in their last 31 games or thereabout, I think Arsenal has won 18, lost just one in their last 31 games between them and Tottenham at the Emirates Stadium. So this could be an advantage for them. Going by the statistics on record, on paper, we give it to Arsenal, but realistically speaking, you take a look at the Arsenal squad right now that is without Bukayo Saka, one of their playmakers. It could be another, big, loopholes that Tottenham can be able to capitalize. Then again, Gabriel Jesus is also out injured. Tanwaneri, that was more like a makeshift replacement for Bukayo Saka, also out injured. So these factors is going to actually, weaken the Arsenal squad tonight against Tottenham. And of course, Tottenham under Ange Postecoglou has been a very surprise team. Sometimes they blow hot and cool, but when they come up against the big teams, they tend to raise the bar. They tend to up their ante. They tend to give out in everything on the pitch of play. So it's going to be a banana peel for Arsenal tonight. But if there's anything to go by record, Arsenal is going to win on paper. But realistically speaking, it's going to be a tough one for them tonight.
Let us see how that one, of course, will pan out. We hope all will well tonight for Arsenal, because if you ask me, they really need all 3 points tonight to strengthen their chase for the Premier League title with Liverpool Football Club. But we'll call it a wrap at this point in time. We'll be back tomorrow by 7 a.m. for Sports Talk. We can't go without telling you who our sport extraordinaire is. No other than the man Novak Djokovic. Of course, Djokovic 430th Grand Slam single match, and now means he takes sole ownership of the record for the most single matches in the Open era, ahead of Federer, who has 429, and Serena Williams, who has 433. No other tennis player has reached the 400 match milestone apart from these players, and Djokovic, of course, is now the highest impressive one for the man.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused